Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're going to be taking a really quick look at the Marvel Legends Walgreens exclusive Mystique figure. So here's a look at her in the packaging. It's collector friendly. It's the same packaging we always see from Hasbro. We got some really cool artwork on the side here. On the back you get some more artwork and then a character description that all looks really nice. I like that they're moving towards more artwork rather than pictures of the figure itself. I think that's really cool. And you're able to see the figure here, all the accessories that she comes with and all that good stuff. But that's enough of that, so let's take a look at the figure. Okay, so here she is out of the box, and she's definitely an improvement over previous Mystique figures. Hasbro has already made one, but it was in her black costume, and it was on an old female body. It wasn't a very good figure. They're very lazy with it. I think it reused the head sculpt from Madame Hydra, and then even the skull on her head wasn't sculpted. It was painted on. That was really cheap of them. And then Toy Biz has one, which was good for its time, but it really hasn't held up. Unfortunately, I don't have either one of those figures handy because I really wasn't a fan, so they're kind of just thrown in a bin somewhere. So you won't be seeing any kind of comparisons with those figures. But if you'd like to see a good comparison between this one and the Toy Biz one, I suggest that you check out Boog Nice's review from Articulated Comic Book Art. He did a good job at comparing those two. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So let's get into this here. So let's take a look. This is definitely a simple figure. It's basically just one of the standard female Hasbro bodies with a little bit of paint and then a belt and a new head. So nothing exciting, but it is a good representation of Mystique, and I think that's something that we as Marvel Legends collectors have been missing. So I am happy that they released her. I was able to get this figure from Walgreens for like $13.99, so I was very happy paying that price. The same day that I picked this up, I was at a local toy show and a bunch of people were selling her for about $30. So, you know, I'm happy that I was able to get her for $13.99. And at that price, I'm happy with it. If I would have paid full price, I probably wouldn't have been as happy because there's just not too much going on. It is a good figure. It's decent, but Hasbro has a lot of work to do on the female bodies. So anyways, let's look at it here. So the face sculpt is really nice. You have the yellow eyes, and then the skull up here is sculpted, so that is cool. I like that the hair is kind of like two different shades of red. It's a little bit lighter on top and it gets darker towards the bottom. And I know Hasbro will never do this, but I would love if Hasbro kind of gave us sculpted details when it came to clothing on these female bodies, just to add a little bit more to them. That would be cool, but that comes secondary to the improvements that they need to make on the articulation. Anyways, we have the belt and skirt here, which looks cool, but I'd say that the skulls on the Toy Biz one are done a lot better than these. These are okay, but they're plastic looking. And then you have the apron here. And then down here, you just have the painted on boots and stuff, you know. So like I said, not too much going on. And then for the accessories, she has a couple of interesting things and then a couple of things that we've seen before, like the weapons. This gun has been used a bunch of times. It's okay. It does kind of look like the type of gun that Mystique might carry around, so that's cool, but the plastic is very soft, so it's going to get warped easy. Check that out. That's whack. And it just, I mean, it's a gun we've seen a bunch of times, so I wish they would have given her something new, but that's a lot to ask from Hasbro at this point. And then she does come with this gun that we've seen a couple times before. I think the first time we saw it was on the Chameleon J. Jonah Jameson figure from the Rhino Build-A-Figure wave. And for that character, I was okay with this gun, but I really don't like it here. It doesn't look as good in gold as it did in black. And I really don't like when the guns match parts in the character. Just kind of goofy to me. And it's really hard for her to hold this gun in a natural way. This is the best I could do. I was able to get her finger into the trigger groove there, and I was able to get her to hold on to it here. But if this wrist was the same as this one, where it was like the vertical movement instead of like the regular like in and out movement, then I think it would have been easier for her to hold this gun. And she does come with a couple of different head sculpts. First off, we have the traditional Mystique head. And then she has this mid-transformation Rogue head, which is really cool. I think this is a really nice way to show off her powers. And the Rogue head seems to be almost exactly the same as the one from the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure wave, except for the color of the hair is different. As you could see on the new Mystique one, the hair is a little bit more red. On the original, it's brown. And I don't know, the mouth kind of looks a little different too, but it's hard to tell because of the way they did the makeup and the paint and stuff like that. But everything else looks pretty much the same, you know, the headband and the design of the hair. It just kind of throwing me off because some of the colors are different. Oh yeah, check that out. You just have the one white streak up there. Oh, I guess that's why oh, look at that. The hair is a different color too. I guess that's why it's not brown, you know, it's still mid-transformation. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, that's cool. Anyways, I think this head sculpt is really cool and it's a very interesting idea. And then lastly, she comes packed in with the Lilandra head. And I'm kind of torn on this because this head doesn't really show off Mystique's power set or anything like that. It's just a random head that they threw in there. And I don't know, it kind of makes me feel like they'll never give us a proper Lilandra, and I think that they just want us to make our own out of this, which is unfortunate because this head sculpt is actually really nice. I like the way that the eyes look and the paint on the side of the face. Everything looks really cool here, so it's kind of a shame that I feel like they're not going to give us a proper Lilandra. And when they were asked about it at Toy Fair, they just kind of were like, oh yeah, you know, we threw in a couple different heads to show off what Mystique can do, but I mean, you don't get that here. When did she ever just transform her head into like a random character like this, you know? Obviously she's X-Men related, but I don't feel like Lilandra is somebody that Mystique is going to cross paths with that often. With the Rogue head, it makes a lot more sense because, you know, it's half blue, it's kind of showing the transformation. This is just a random head on top of a Mystique body, so I'm not into that. One thing I've seen a couple people do is throw the Lilandra head on the Silver Sable body, and I think that's okay, but it's kind of a cop-out. I really want a Lilandra figure, an official Lilandra figure, and I think they could do some really cool stuff with it, you know, give her an unmasked head with that weird feather hair. I think that would be really cool. But you know, chances are it would turn out just like this here. And what we have here is the Silver Sable body and then the Dread Knight cape. So again, I think it looks cool, and I like how the silver buttons kind of match up with the rest of the figure, and it's decent enough. And if I wanted to officially keep this on my shelf like this along with Gladiator, then I might just go ahead and pick up a new Silver Sable. If I see one discounted or something, maybe I'll do that. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they give us an actual Lilandra figure along with some more Shi'ar characters, because they're awesome. All we have is Gladiator right now. I'd like a couple of the Royal Guard. I've always liked those characters, along with like Starjammers. All those X-Men space characters would be really cool. So it just kind of, I'm just kind of torn on this situation here. It makes me feel like they're not going to go forward with any of that kind of stuff. And for some size comparisons, here she is along with her two kids, Rogue and Nightcrawler. And this Nightcrawler is still awesome. I know that Hasbro's giving us an updated one pretty soon, but this one still holds up and still looks awesome next to new Marvel Legends figures. But yeah, I think she scales pretty good with those characters. And now here she is alongside the Marvel Legends Domino and Marvel Legends Deadpool, both from the Sasquatch Build-A-Figure wave. And Domino is a really good figure to me. It's probably one of my favorite Hasbro female figures, and they just did a good job of like putting things on her to make her feel different enough than other female characters. I wish they would have tried to do something similar with Mystique. I know her costume design kind of restricts them in that regard, but they could have done something, extra hands or maybe interchangeable arms. They've done stuff like that in the past, but I just put Domino here just to show that Hasbro can definitely make good female figures, but sometimes they just kind of get lazy. And even though they have nothing to do with her, we have to show her off with the Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. And then finally we have her with the Marvel Legends Magneto from the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure wave, and I really can't wait to get that classic version of him. I think that they're going to look really cool together. And then we also have the Tiger Stripe Wolverine from the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure wave, and I think they're going to be really cool to pose together too. They have like a back and forth thing going on. And for the articulation, if you collect Marvel Legends, you're probably very familiar with what we have going on here. They still haven't implemented any of the things that they've hinted at, like double jointed elbows on the female body. So, it is what it is, but let's take a quick look at it. Her head is on a ball joint, so it could go all the way around. The hair really does not get in the way. It does have a up and down, so she can look down to about there, and she could look up to right there, but then her hair gets in the way. Other than that, the hair isn't really a problem. And let's see, there's not too much tilt to it either. So the head is kind of sitting low on that ball joint. And then for the torso, let's see here. She could go back to about there. She could crunch to about there. She can bring it to the side, and then she could twist a little bit. And then there is no waist joint. And then for the arms, they're able to go all the way around. They could come out to the side. No upper bicep swivel. She has a single jointed elbow, and these things are whack. Check that out. They pretty much just get 90. Yeah, that's about it right there. So we all know that these joints suck, so it is what it is, but they have a swivel too. And then on her right hand, she has the trigger finger hand, which is able to go up and down, and that's the kind of joint they give to a lot of the shooting type of characters, and that works for her because she's known to be a shooter, so that's cool. And then for the left hand, it just has a more traditional type of joint. It's a hinge and a swivel. And then for the legs, let's see here, they can only come out to the side to about there. They could come forward a nice amount though, and they could come back to about there. This thing doesn't get in the way of the articulation at all. And then you have the upper thigh swivel. You have the double jointed knee. There's no lower leg swivel. Her feet can go up and down like that, and then you have the rocking ankles. So again, Hasbro has a lot of work to do in terms of articulation on female figures. And, you know, that's, I don't know, it just kind of feels funny saying that. We've been saying it for so many years. And I kind of just hesitate to review female Marvel Legends figures just because they're just, they're slightly disappointing every time you get them. But in this case, Mystique was a very good price. It's a figure that I needed. So overall, this figure is okay. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a really good figure, but it does get the job done. I just really wish that Hasbro would put a little bit more love into their female characters. For whatever reason, they just haven't made that stride yet. You know, with a lot of complaints that we have as collectors, Hasbro has kind of taken those complaints and improved on things, but they just haven't with female figures. They've made slight improvements. Like, this is one of the better female bodies, but you know, it's just missing so much. I really don't understand why they can't do double jointed elbows. I mean, they have their reasons, I guess, but they just don't seem to make much sense to me. I don't know. But if this is what they had to give us, at least they could have gone above and beyond with the accessories. They could have given her interchangeable arms, which we've seen on other characters that are less known than Mystique, so they could have done that for her. They could have given her extra hands, because all they gave us was these gun gripping hands, and they didn't even give us good guns for her to hold on to, so you're left to find your own guns, or she's just going to be standing there awkward with these you know, gun gripping hands. So that kind of sucks. They could have given her multiple hands, and that would have added a lot of personality to the figure. And I do think the Rogue head is a step in the right direction, because that's really creative and cool. I think it's a cool way to show off her powers. But yeah, that's it's minimal. They could have added some more of those types of things in there, especially it being an exclusive. So there's no Build-A-Figure piece or anything like that. I feel like they could have got crazy with it, but they didn't. So hopefully in the future they give us another Mystique, they try it again, and just add some of those cool things. And hopefully pretty soon here we'll see an updated female body with some better articulation. For some reason, they just won't do it, you know? I don't know what it is. I wish they would explain a little bit better, because we've seen really small characters with double jointed elbows. I know they say that it kind of messes up the sculpt a little bit, but so does, I mean, they say that it messes up the overall look because the arms are so small or something like that. But, you know, just having these weak elbows messes up the overall look too, and having these awkward gripping hands messes up the overall look. So I don't know, I don't get it sometimes. But anyways, I am happy to have this Mystique figure, and she does look good. She's gonna look cool on the shelf next to other X-Men villains, and hopefully I could kind of think of cool ways to take pictures of her. I do appreciate that Rogue head. I like that Lilandra head. Hopefully I could get some use out of that. Hopefully they give us an actual Lilandra figure, but it feels like it's not likely. So anyways, I don't mean to be so negative on this review. I do like this figure. I'm happy to have it. I'm happy I only paid $13.99 and not $20 or $30 or whatever. So yeah, it is what it is. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And that's it. Peace.